What did you make of the turnout? The people that came out to support your cause?
Right. Sarah, thank you very much. And first of all, just give me the opportunity to greet your cherished listeners and those who have the opportunity to watch. And good morning to my constituency, because I know your machine reaches there somehow, and my people, Kweku South, are listening. And good morning to yourself. I haven't seen you for a while. I hope that this will be a beginning of escalating our meetings.
Yes.
The turnout was massive. I mean, I think we have all seen demonstrations in this country in recent times.
Okay.
And the attendance was massive. In fact, when we gathered in Obra Sport, the people have become so massive that people were agitating that we had to move because the place was becoming too crowded and could lead to, anybody doing anything, and then the police might decide that they should disperse the crowd, and that would defeat, the whole exercise. Eventually, we moved. There were a few issues as to which direction we should be going, though we have resolved that with the police, but in real time, there were issues where there shouldn't have been any issues. There was issue that we will not end up in Bank of Ghana, we'll make a U-turn. But eventually, at least the leadership were able to get to the front doors of Bank of Ghana, only to be disappointed by, the governor and his deputies not ready to receive our petition. But the crowd, I'm sure you saw, as you said, you saw me, was quite a massive crowd. So it was not, though the demonstration was organized or spearheaded by the minority in parliament and other pressure groups and Fix the Country and all other groups. There were a lot of Ghanaians who don't belong to anything, but are feeling the real hardship that everybody's feeling in this country. And the recklessness and the mess and the disorder that is going on in Bank of Ghana. And I have heard the governor's response
and I'll come there. I'll come to his response. But before I go there, you have the unique experience of having worked in the financial sector. In fact, when it comes to banking, you have quite an experience in that sector, when in Ghana and also abroad.
Of course.
Do you understand when they say the Bank of Ghana is designated a security zone? Does that add up for you?
Right. Let's break a few things down to really understand what this whole thing is. What is really Bank of Ghana? I mean, the Bank of Ghana is the central bank of this country. In every jurisdiction or in every country, there is a central bank, which is supposed to be the bank of the government of that country. Therefore, for us, Bank of Ghana is the bank of the government of Ghana. If the premises of the government of Ghana is a security zone, then you can, by extension, say that some security, So if we are not prevented from demonstrating at the Jubilee House, how can you be demonstrated? How can you be prevented from demonstrating at an extension
of the Jubilee House?
Of the Jubilee House, which is the Bank of Ghana, or an extension of the main security zone, which is the premises of the government. Look, demonstration is a constitutional right. Demonstration is part of democracy, and it is the right of any citizen of this country, and indeed any country where democracy works, to be able to demonstrate as part of the processes in strengthening our democracy. It is a way of making the government that is governing the country know the feelings of the people. You know, until recently, when we've had all this, you guys doing fantastic job with FMs and all that stations and TV stations, people get the opportunity through morning shows to go and air their feelings on what is happening. But how many of us get into your studio to air that feelings? And the feelings may be the same and different. Demonstration is one way of giving the opportunity for anyone who is not happy with certain things going on in governance or in the management of the economy to be able to demonstrate to the authorities that, look, we elected you to do ABC, we are not saying that. And those whom we have elected have also, again, by extension, appointed certain people. That includes the Bank of Ghana. And they are not doing right by us. And we have every right to go to the presumed security zone to demonstrate. Because without us, there cannot be any security zone. So I don't know where that argument is coming from. Security zone, so we can't go there. I mean, but neither here nor there.
The understanding of the workings of the Bank of Ghana.
Yeah.
Is it an area where you should secure?
Well, of course, there is money there, which is money for the country. As you hear the name, being used, the bank of last resort. So basically, if we have liquidity challenges, and again, let's. I was talking about the functions of the Bank of Ghana to know exactly what Bank of Ghana is, because I think, just for the sake of our listeners, the Bank of Ghana, as I said earlier, is the central bank of the government, or our central bank. Yeah. So basically, it does financial, economic transactions, monetary transactions on behalf of the government. The government itself doesn't go to the market to issue bonds and all that. All these things are done on behalf of the government by the central bank. Okay. So that's one function. So the central bank is in charge of monetary policy. Okay. When they say monetary policy, it's to do with the supply of money in and out of the economy. And that is a role being played by the central bank to make sure that there's enough cash, enough liquidity in the system. If there's too much of it, to reduce it, to make sure that we have some financial stability in the system. On financial stability, the other thing as what they do is to also maintain price stability. Price stability is what is known as inflation. Okay. To make sure that the economy is not overheating or the economy is not overcooling. When you say an economy is overheating, it means there is so much money in the system that is creating high inflation and cause prices to increase. Therefore, your salary could be the same, but the things you spend your money on skyrocket as a result of inflation. Okay. So these are the main functions of the Bank of Ghana. And then when you break it further down, you can be looking at other things like exchange rate and all those things to make sure that the bank has enough reserves to pay for our foreign debt or things that we bring into the country that needs to be paid for in terms of our import, and also to be able to receive on behalf of the government things that we have exported that needs to be paid for in hard currency. That is what comes into the reserve, and be able to manage the import and export of the country to make sure that they support the physical side. The Bank of Ghana is responsible for monetary policy, that I've said, money supply and all that. And the Ministry of Finance is responsible for the physical, the taxes, the revenues and all that we raise. The two of them work in tandem to make sure that we provide monetary stability and fiscal stability in the economy. Okay. Of course, the Bank of Ghana is being established or given ring fence as independent to ensure that we don't get dangerous governors and dangerous finance ministers who will decide to use, the banks and their what is called money box and do all sorts of things. So yes, all the things I have described that they are responsible for. There are also rules of engagement. Okay. There are laws that have been set up to monitor how these functions that they have, this service that they provide to government and Ghanaians and to banks, are being ushered in day in and day out. So you cannot be a central government and say that my responsibility is money supply. Okay. Therefore, I wake up in the morning and go to work and flood the market with money because my job is money supply. There are parameters, there are indicators, there are analysis, there are laws enshrined in our constitution, in our banking acts, in our public financial management that you have to adhere to be able to perform your functions. The Bank of Ghana today has become a den of anarchists.
A den of anarchists.
Anarchists. Anarchy, the word anarchy.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm surprised you're calling the Bank of Ghana a den of anarchists.
Yes. The den of anarchists, a den of thieves, and serious criminalities.
Den of anarchists, den of thieves.
Yes. Serious criminalities being perpetrated in the Bank of Ghana and perpetuated. And the demonstration is to stop the perpetuation of the perpetration of what the central bank governor is doing. A central bank in the hands of a dangerous governor like Addison is a recipe for disaster. And the earlier we halt it, the better. If you know what is going on in bank, look, General Mosquito, our chairman, described the Bank of Ghana as a crime scene. Yeah. It is not a joke. The Bank of Ghana financially, monetarily, economically is actually a crime scene. The crime that is going on, a white collar crime that is going on in Bank of Ghana is really dangerous. And a time will come. Look, the very things that Bank of Ghana closed commercial banks for are the very things that they are doing and the situation that they are in. They close banks for having negative equity. They have 55% of it. Negative equity. They close banks for that. They close banks for losses. They have 60 billion of it. And they are still operating. They close banks for mismanagement. It is the biggest institution where mismanagement is happening left, right, and center. They close banks for lack of liquidity. They tell you that we have negative equity, we have lost 60 billion, but it still doesn't affect our operations. So if it doesn't affect your operations, why didn't you allow other commercial banks to also operate? Because if negative equity and astronomical losses does not affect the operation of a bank, then why have over 400 banks and microfinances been closed for the very same crime? And central bank, because it's the central bank, is operating. The things they are doing in central bank, Senna, if I explain and open some of them to you, we have just scratched the surface. Because it's an area where they are supervisors and it looks as nobody supervises them. Okay. So because there's no supervision, and we, by constitution and by law, member of parliament should be in a position to supervise the central bank and pretty much every institution under this economy. But because it's an anarchist place, as I described to you, and anarchy basically means that the place is in a state of disorder
and constant chaos.
And they have no recognition to any authority other than themselves. They don't follow. They have lack of of following the systems that have been set up and laws to control the activities of how central bank operates in relation with the economy.
Who holds the Bank of Ghana accountable? Because this is the issue. And now let's come to the governor's response. You are a member of parliament, the people's representative. The people are supposed to be the top of everything. So everybody else in the system accounts to the people. Yeah. So we assume that when you speak, you're speaking for us.
Absolutely.
Who's the governor of the Bank of Ghana responding to you? The minority in parliament have many channels to channel their grievances in civilized societies, not through demonstrations in the streets as hooligans. That's a serious descriptions of members of parliament who are leading a demonstration. So the governor of the Bank of Ghana doesn't even feel accountable to you, the representatives of the people. So is it that we have a structure that does not hold the Bank of Ghana accountable to anybody at all? We are missing the point.
What you have just said, first of all, this is very rich, coming from a governor who does not respect any authority, who does not respect any channels. He is talking about channels available to us. This man doesn't respect any channels. If he did, he would not have been printing money recklessly without any recourse to the people. And by the people, I mean the legislature. We represent the people. And there are rules. As I said, there are rules of engagement. There are laws. I talked about the Constitution. I talked about the Banking Own Act. I talked about the Public Financial Management Act and all that. The laws are there. What the Bank of Ghana is supposed to do when he wants to print money, there are rules that you don't print money to the government more than 5% of the previous year's revenue. And you have printed 77 billion in 2 years, which is more than 50-60% of what you should be doing, without any recourse to the authorities or the structures or the channels that are laid down in our laws and in Constitution for you to follow. And you come telling us about channels. Does he know any channels? The governor has become an anarchist. Total disorder. No respect for anyone. We turn up with our petition and he sent his head of security to come and collect it. Because he is not interested. And he thinks that his position is constitutional. Well, who looks after the Constitution? Or who write the laws in this country? The law courts are to interpret them. And we, after having exhausted all avenues of engaging the governor, because he will not come to us in the first place to tell us what is going on, you tell us that we are hooligans. Well, if you have anarchists running our central banks, you might end up having hooligans to drive them out.
Well, Honorable George Kweku Ricketts-Hagan is member of parliament for Cape Coast South. Joining us in studio we're having a conversation with him from now till 10 a.m. when we hand over the program to the King of Mid-Morning, Ochami Bajimba, on the matter of the Bank of Ghana. Now let's go back to the demonstration.
Yeah.
Now, here you are putting together a demonstration after giving the governor 21 days to resign. And after that 21 days, you even had a registration exercise that took your attention from that for a while.
We were dealing with the police.
You were dealing with the police with the back.
Which route we should be using and all that, which also took time.
Yeah, the back and forth. Yes. And through all this, the governor kept organizing one press conference after another, issuing one statement after another to respond to you. At any point in time, did he say anything? Because that perhaps made you think that perhaps we should not be going after the governor, that he is not the problem? Of all the responses you've heard from him, has he been able to convince you that he is not the one at fault?
The governor is part of the problem.
Part of the problem.
The governor is a co-architect, together with the finance minister, on the challenges that we have in this country to do with our economy and the financial instability that we have at the moment. And the governor is pretty much very central of it. Well, you can go into the economic crisis and have all sorts of reasons, Russia-Ukraine war and all that. But we have always said that this economy was in a vegetative state before all these things happened. Therefore, building your house on straw and the storm comes, your house is obviously going to collapse. COVID happened in every corner of the world, the health side of it. Yeah. And it created an economic challenges for many countries. But some countries fared better than others. Okay. That's where you have to go and ask yourself a question. Yeah. Why is country A doing better than country B with the same pretty much, setup? Mm-hmm. It is because one was mismanaging its economy, one was borrowing recklessly and wasting the money. One did not have a clue on what was going on. They did not understand the economy they were managing. And they were stealing the money that they were borrowing, or the money that the nation is getting from its revenues and all that, and using it to do different things. And they had a central bank with a dangerous governor, Governor Addison, who obviously understands central bank, the use of a central bank in, I want to be careful with the words here. He was using the central bank. You can use the rules wrongly to do the wrong things. Okay. And Addison has become a master of it.
Using the rules wrongly.
Yes. He's doing certain things. Let me give you one example. And this is something that we are not looking at. Okay. In a country where we have a serious economic challenges, where we have lack of investor confidence in our country, and people are not participating in our bonds. First of all, they have blocked us from any external bonds. So with the domestic bond, they keep telling you that our bonds are being oversubscribed. Yes. Oversubscription means that you have investor confidence in your economy. But we are seeing the lack of it. So who is oversubscribing Ghana's bond? And let me tell you one thing that's going on that makes the central bank criminal. The central bank is buying its own bonds that is issuing. Listen to this carefully. And this is something that many people are probably not aware of what's going on. And I will tell you how you can see those things in the books. I mean,
the central bank is selling to itself.
Yes. As I told you, if the government of Ghana wants to raise money, it goes to the central bank for the central bank to issue bonds on its behalf. Okay. So they are selling you the paper, taking your money to give to government to work with, and then the government gives you time, first of all, to pay you some coupons, and then eventually the bond matures and you get your maturity, depending on the terms of the particular bond that you go for, whether it's treasury, it's a 1 year, whatever bond that you go for. So when the central bank, yes, the central bank is the underwriter. And in many jurisdictions, the central bank has a limited amount of bonds that it can buy, its own bond that it can buy. Obviously, to give investors confidence that, they are underwriting the bond. This is a case where a dangerous governor is using the same rule to do dangerous things. Okay. What they are doing basically is that the bonds that we are selling in this country are not, listen to this again, are not being oversubscribed as we are being told. Because investors, both domestic and international investors, lack confidence in Ghana's economy to be participating in its bond, the manner in which it's being described to us. So we issue a 20 million, let's say 20 million, Ghana city bond. 20 million. That means Ghana government wants 20 million. Okay. It issues a paper, take people's 20 million, gives it to government to work with and pay, which is now resulted into haircut and all that. Yeah. Now, when they put the bond out there, let's say only 10 million is subscribed because of lack of confidence. The Bank of Ghana itself buys the remaining bond. And how does it pay for? It prints money to give to the government and tell you that the bond is oversubscribed. Let me tell you, I'm giving you the channels where money is printed and given to government.
Okay.
And this could happen even on the blind side of professionals like the IMF and the World Bank.
They will still miss it.
They will miss it because I am your banker. I have gone to the bank. I have gone to the market. You said you want 20 million, and I have brought 20 million. When I brought the 20 million, I have given you names: pension funds, banks, insurance companies, individual bondholders. These are the people who have bought my bond. Now, look on all the bonds we have issued. You realize that there is always others, and nobody explains to you who those others are. And the chunk of the others is sometimes bigger than
the rest. Okay.
The rest of them. Who is that other? And these are the things. Look, serious investigation needs to go on in Bank of Ghana. So come up and tell us who are the others. Anytime you issue bond, they should have a name. If they are individual bondholders, if they are pension fund, if they are insurance companies, if they are commercial banks, if they are other institutions, if they are foreigners, because foreigners buy into our bonds, but they bring their dollars or whatever currency and exchange it for cedis to be able to buy. We allow that participation. They are all there. So why do we still have others? Others who? Are they aliens?
Okay.
So our bonds, the way of channeling money, and this is serious. This is why General Mosquito's description of the place being a crime scene, Bank of Ghana needs to be investigated seriously, because what is going on is very dangerous. So now they buy the bond. Okay. So they provide 10 million, which is a printed money. So they have coolly, unassumingly, nobody is watching. They have printed money and given to to the government of Ghana as a bond proceeds.
Okay.
But they are actually printed money. Now, ask yourself, how can Bank of Ghana take a hit of about 60 billion when a bond that they have issued to people and collected money? I have given you a haircut. So that what I promise you in terms of coupons, in terms of maturities, even in terms of the length of your bond, has all changed. They've all changed. Your bond now you have to wait longer. Your coupons, haircuts, your maturity will not be seen for a while. Your maturity has been rolled over and a whole other things. This is all happening to the buyer of the bond.
The person who the bond has been sold to. Yeah.
Now, how does the seller of the bond also suffer this astronomical haircut? Yes, they did not do the bond, the debt restructuring the time they should have done it.
Okay.
Therefore, they anticipated 137 billion that they are anticipated to be affected by the eligible money that should affect the debt restructuring. Because they took a long time in deciding whether pension funds should be in or they should be out or they should be where or what, they took time. By the time they did the transaction itself, it has gotten to about 90 billion. Which means that, what does that mean? It means that in between the time that they announced the 137 billion that they have ring fenced to do the debt, the domestic debt exchange, and they took a long time to do it, some of the bonds were maturing. Therefore, they have to find the money. But it is for the lack of money that they were doing the debt structure in the first place.
Yes.
Therefore, the Bank of Ghana had to cough up the money to make the payment. So that explains part of their losses. But should it be 60 billion? No. Why it is 60 billion is that the Bank of Ghana itself is also taking a haircut because of the bond that it has bought that it shouldn't have. Because the bank itself has invested in bonds that were supposed to go to other people. pretending that it's been oversubscribed. But actually, it's the bank itself that has bought the bond. Therefore, if you are giving a haircut to people who hold the bond,
the bank will also be affected.
The bank will also be affected. And that is where they put those losses in there. But the money they use, Bank of Ghana, what business does it do? If the Bank of Ghana buy bonds, it has limited resources. We think of Bank of Ghana. Bank of Ghana's resources is there to do, what is it called? Lending of last resort. So where will Bank of Ghana get that astronomical amount of money to purchase a chunk of Ghana's bond to make our bonds be oversubscribed? So because of what they've done, then they incurred the haircut, the losses. Because those bonds, they were expecting government, they themselves, were expecting to pay themselves back. Because when the bonds are matured or coupons are being paid, Bank of Ghana pay itself coupons just as it's paying the public.
Okay.
And when those bonds matured, the Bank of Ghana will pay itself maturity. So they are, it's like magicians. They put money on a blanket here, and then they take it, and the money is there. They have another blanket here, they take it, and there's no money there. But then when they cover the blanket again, the money moves from here to here, and there to here to there. So it's the same money that they are playing with us with. There's no oversubscription going on anywhere. It is all money being printed. But it is printed in different circumstances and in different mood. So that's what I'm saying, that it will be very difficult. Look, ask yourself, what should the IMF and the World Bank place physically staff at the Bank of Ghana to do what? Normally, informations are being sent, wireless or electronically to them. They have meetings just like they come and have meetings with us, and we tell them. They have stopped believing us in the information that we give them. The people who are working in Bank of Ghana, I tell you, if you check the IMF or World Bank people, they claim they are Bank of Ghana. If you should check their background and take this up and find out who they are, that's if they don't change them quickly, you will realize that these people could be security and surveillance people, not actually bankers. Because their physical presence is not really needed. So if they are physically there, then they are there to check some physical wrongdoings. They are there to check monies coming into the country. Don't forget the money, the Ghana cedi is not printed in Ghana. It is printed somewhere, France or somewhere. So when the money actually comes in and you are physically there, you will see the money being rolled into the vaults. This is what these people are observing, to be able to reconcile the information that we give them. Because things don't add up in this country. We are just kicking the can down the road. Look, when this government leaves office, when this central governor leaves office, the rot you will see that they were sitting on will probably be quadrupled what we are being told that you think is a problem.
The 60 billion.
Yeah. It will be more than that. It will be more than that. The rot that is going on. And the earlier, that is why I say this demonstration and this idea of getting rid of Addison. After all, like you say, we have about 1 year, 3 months to go. We are in a democracy. Elections will come. The feeling in Ghana right now is that people want to get rid of this government and all that. But I tell you, 1 year, 3 months is a long time.
Even with the IMF rep,
to keep Addison in office, to continue this perpetuation of rot, that if we don't halt it, there will be a serious problem when Addison is left. This is a dangerous central bank governor who is using the very tools that he's supposed to work with in reverse. This guy goes forward by reversing, and he goes forward by reversing, and he goes backwards by putting it in gear 1. That's how dangerous he is. So they've turned the rules upside down. They are not respecting the 5%. Otherwise, they wouldn't have printed 77 billion. They don't respect the bond rules. Otherwise, they will not be purchasing for themselves just to hype. And they tell you that, hey, we said we were going for 20 billion. We have received it. Investor confidence is very high. But they are the ones who are propping up that investor confidence. So anything happens to the bond market, the Bank of Ghana itself is going to be in serious trouble, because the Bank of Ghana itself is a participant of the bonds that they have issued. They are buyers, sellers and buyers. They sell their bonds to themselves just to make government look good. And they take coupons in return for that. And they take maturities and claim that they are making money. What business does Bank of Ghana do to be making money other than looking after our money? Bank of Ghana receives money that comes to the Republic of Ghana in terms of import revenue. They make payments on our behalf for things we are importing into this country, capital goods and all that. By using our reserves to pay for that, they use the reserves to make sure that they keep the cedi and the dollar balance right, so that we don't have the cedi over depreciating and the dollar over appreciating, which is the situation we are in at the moment. They are there to make sure that there's enough money in the system to keep a smooth liquidity operations. At the moment, we are not, because they are solving a problem they are also creating. As a result of this money they are printing through bonds issuing and other things, which is creating inflation. Their other mandate, don't forget, is to be responsible for inflation. Therefore, they throw money, or they don't throw money. Therefore, they try to take money, because if you have an inflation in your system, as the economists will say, it means your economy is overheating. There's too much money in the economy. But the problem with the too much money in the economy is that the money is not going to the general economy. It is being printed and targeted to government and its operations, to elections and other things. Therefore, you see that the economy is overheating, but yet it is not overheating everywhere. That is why some of us eat in a day and others go hungry, because the overheating is only part of the economy that's overheating. But generally, if there's 10 billion in the economy, there is 10 billion in the economy. If you are not getting some, don't blame Addison. And that's what is happening. So when the inflation goes up to a point, like the 54 and things, that the dizzy height that we reach, and they think that they have to do something as a central bank, then they come and increase interest rate, which is a lever for taking cash out of the system to cool it. They take the cash from the system from me and you, not where they have parked the money. Because the interest rate will affect you. It will increase the cost of borrowing for your business and for other things. But the one Cecilia the power has under his bed is not affected by that. The cedis. So this is the kind of operation that we are in, where the mess is being created by this is where the central bank is in the very center and is a co-architect. He creates the inflation and comes and mop it up. And in doing so, he does excessive things. The governor, the dangerous governor Addison, has also become a superman. He thinks he's saving the country. And this is the argument they will put out there. And if you don't understand the things expansively, you may think that what he's saying is right. Oh, we went into COVID and this was happening and we had to do this, otherwise Ghana would have collapsed. No, that's a lie. It is his actions that eventually collapsed the system. When COVID came, when Russia-Ukraine war came, the issues were supply issues, supply side issues, not being able to get some capital goods and other things on time, not being able to get crude at a reasonable price to be able to have your fuel at the pump. These are all supply side problems. Ideally, if the structures are laid down, this is not Bank of Ghana's problem. This is a problem rightly rooted in fiscal decisions that is, the Minister of Finance should be making to address the supply side problems. Because the central bank, by its nature, should be addressing demand side inflation, not supply side inflation. Demand is when your economy is genuinely overheating as a result of demand. And then you come in and apply these your levers to try and deal with it. But if you are using demand side solution to address a supply side solution problems, you have your man. He's called Addison.
But then if that is what you're saying, why would Addison resignation be the solution to the problem? Because your analogy started with a dangerous finance minister and a dangerous governor. So it's a collaboration. The finance minister is representing the president, and we are told that this is a very powerful finance minister who the president cannot touch. You've tried yourself, you failed. So if you have that, removing Addison would only give them opportunity to have somebody that's worse. So can you solve the problem by taking him out? Because they have to appoint a new person.
Well, if we have been successful in removing Kenofuriata, we would have probably solved 50% of the problem. Because I told you they are co-architects. So if you remove one architect, then you have 50% of the problem to go after. Unfortunately, due to certain things and through our own and a minority, our own sort of shortcomings in the past, we were not able to see things through in terms of the Kenofuriata situation. In fact, his own party, our own friends on the majority, embarked on the same mission. The group of 90 or, a group of what they were calling
the numbers kept increasing.
Yeah, increasing. Yes. Went to the president to do the same. And they failed abysmally. And they will not join us in working together to resolve this problem. So, as you have rightly described, we have a finance minister who has become probably too big to remove. That you will require an enormous, But then we have also discovered that the crimes are not being committed by one architect. There is a co-architect. So, he is not a cousin of the president. He is not, doing the things that he's doing. So, if the two of them, we need to get rid of the two of them. But that if we weaken them, we will be able to get the other one. If we take out Addison, we will take out the finance minister eventually. If we had been able to take out the finance minister, look, these two people are messing up the institutions that they are heading, and removing them might not be solving the 100% problem, but you give the institutions they manage a fresh start, a new breath of air, and will also send a signal to whoever takes over that is not business as usual, and that there are laws governing your responsibilities that you have been given by the Republic of Ghana to serve us and serve us well, and not yourself. So the stealing, look, both the Ministry of Finance is a den of, and I'm not, the technocrats, take them out of this. But the political leaders, because whatever happens to the technocrats is as a result of the direction given by the political leaders. The political leaders of the Ministry of Finance is also a den of thieves. And the political leadership of the Bank of Ghana has also become a den of thieves. In addition to being den of thieves, they've also become a den of anarchists. No rule of law. In Ethiopia, we don't take orders from anybody. No authority. Parliament of Ghana, to hell with them. I am Addison. I am the governor. There are systems. That's really rich coming from Governor Addison. That he knows that there are avenues and he doesn't use them, and he's telling us that there are avenues. He comes and tells us, I didn't receive your petition. There are avenues. If there are avenues, why did you send someone to come and receive the petition? If we have not followed the avenue, why did you bother to bring somebody, your security, couple at the place to come and receive it? Nobody should have turned up at all and tell us that we haven't followed the right channels. But you send somebody. If we had given the petition to that person would have taken it there and probably put it in a bin at the door when he enters. Because Addison doesn't seem to have any interest in reading this. He is a super governor that is saving Ghana by any means necessary. If we have to die as citizens in the process of Governor Addison's ambition and mission for him, so be it.
Well, and you, like I said, you are a banker.
Yes.
You're a banker. Now you are a politician. But your profession was...
I don't stop to be a banker.
Now, so do you imagine that the stance was going to be so belligerent? Because it says, I won't resign. For a lot of people, for a banker in a situation, he would have been careful about, okay, so if this continues, what will be the impact of my reputation and everything? Why wouldn't I just bow out for at least to kill the fire? But he says, I won't resign. He's surprised by his stance. Did you expect him to be this belligerent?
In any jurisdiction, with what has gone on in this country, the mess, the economic mess, the debt, and all that has gone on, you will not have this governor, this finance minister in office in any jurisdiction. They would have been gone a long time. But you have these two guys who are standing in front of the cliff, and they are saying, they are pushing anybody who comes close to them down the cliff, and they are standing. And governor's position, which is obviously been empowered by what he has seen, that these guys tried to get rid of the finance minister, they couldn't. So how could they get rid of me? So all I have to do is to also stand my ground, and give silly utterances to us, calling us hooligans. Is an anarchist calling somebody a hooligan? Well, you've met your match. If you're an anarchist, it's only hooligans who can get you out. So his behavior is beyond comprehension. But I must tell you that Addison's position has become untenable. He will go.
He will go.
Addison will go. We will get him out.
But he says, I won't resign.
Well, it's like a boxing match, isn't it? Everybody believes they will win the fight. Nobody comes in the ring.
What makes you confident you will win this fight?
Yes, because we have experience of not getting finance minister out. We have learned from our experience, and we will get Addison out.
How?
Well, leave it to us. One step at a time. I mean, I can't sit here and put all the cards on the table for our opponents to strategize on how to maneuver around them. First step, we said we will go on demonstration. We said we will go to the Bank of Ghana. They said, no, we won't go to the Bank of Ghana. We go to Bank of Ghana.